Welcome everybody. We're going to do a great song by Bad Company, including that wonderful pedal steel lick at the end. This is really just a well-structured song, and a couple little things that make it special that I don't think the tab or people really cover, but we'll talk about that. The chorus is really cool. And the lead's not very difficult. Take a little bit of practice with some Chuck Berry style licks and you'll have it down. So we'll go over the whole song next. Start the lesson off. We're normal tuning. Got a little bit of hair on the amp, so it's got some distortion going. And what we're going to do is add these suspended chords, or really they would be a D over A. So we're going to be adding the 3rd fret of the 2nd string, 4th fret of the 4th string to an A chord, and we're going to go up to a D chord and add that same figure. Okay, the real key to this is pedaling or using that A note, because we have what would be called an A and then a D over, or A over D, and then we're going to an A over D, and then we're adding this, it's actually an F. Alright, but anyhow, up to that point, it's pretty much A over D. So that A plays kind of an integral part of what we're trying to accomplish for a rhythm. We're going to start out with a drum lead, and then we're going to come in with an A chord. Okay, and then we're going to hit the A string by itself, then the D over A, then the A string, or I'm sorry, then the A chord. So there's a note between, alright? Now when we go up to the D, and I'm going to show you this slow so it'll really make sense. We're going to go up to the D by hitting that A note, and then the A over D. So we'll be at the 7th fret on the 4th, 3rd, and 2nd string. We're not going to play the 1st string. Then we're going to hit that A note again, and then our F to a D. Then repeat it. Alright, so let me show you this slowly so you can see how that A note fits in there. I'm going to turn the distortion down a little bit. And 1, 2, 3, 4. So it's a little overemphasized, but again, let me do it one more time so you can really get a feel for this. We'll do it at a medium tempo. 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay, so work on that a little bit. I've written out my notes. You can click on the link below the video and download them and follow along. That will definitely help. Alright, so after playing that first 3/4 of a measure, we're going to do a walk up to reference a G. Alright, so we're not playing a full G chord, we're just going to walk up the 6th string, 0, 2, 3. Then we're going to hit the 4th and 3rd string open. So with that 3rd string, it gives you the reference of a G chord. Then we jump to a D power chord. We're not going to play the 1st string, okay? So leave your finger off of there. We'll be in a power chord. We'll hit that twice, and then hit the 3rd fret of the 5th string with a pull down. That's a C note, all right? So we have this slowly. 1, 2, 3, 4. so that's the first measure of the intro. The second measure, we're going to do that first intro, all that, but when we go to that G to D, we're just going to stop at the D, so it'll go like this. And then the vocals will come in, all right? So let's go through these first two measures where we just stop at the D and then, or stop at a D, let it ring so the vocals can come in. 1, 2, 3, 4. Alright, so after that intro, we're into verse 1, which is a pretty straightforward rock and roll rhythm. Although Mick Ralph's, watching him do this live, he plays a G a little bit different, and I'll talk about that. So let me go through it once so you can see, and at least the first measure. Alright, so basically we're going to hit this will be an A power chord. We'll hit the first, the fifth string, I should say, open, and the fourth string at the second fret. We'll do that twice. Then we go to 4, back to 2. That's one little quarter measure. Alright, then we're going to do it again, but when we get to 4, we're just going to hit it open, third and fourth string, leading us to the D, doing the same thing. So again, with the D, because we're just moving down to a D power chord, doing the same thing. Then we're going to do this G a little different. Rather than playing a G, which you might know with the pinky stretch, to the sixth, which would be that E note. Alright, we're going to do this E note on the fourth string. So we're muting the fifth string and hitting the sixth string and then hammering on to that E from the D. Alright, so just focus on that G. Mute the fifth string, hit the fourth string open, and then we'll be using the second fret. Then we're back to an A, but it changes a little bit. What we're going to do, hit the A twice, and then go to the third fret and then fourth fret of the fifth string. Back to an A, and then again. So we have this. Then start again. There's two measures of this. So I'm going to take you all through the second measure. Alright, so that is the rhythm. Again, I've written this out. That'll really help, I feel. After that, we're into the second measure of the intro. With the second measure, I mean we're going to do our... We're just going to end on the D. Alright, so it comes back in. Alright, so that is going into the second verse, but that is the verses. Alright, we're going to do that second verse. We'll go through it again. At the end, we're just going to stop on the second A. Alright, so we're going to come into it. And then we're into the bridge where things go to halftime feel and we slow down. So we'll go over that next. Alright, so after the second verse, we're into the bridge here, which again is a halftime feel, and I'm going to show you the first half of the measure. Okay, so basically what we're doing is that D add-on, and I backed off the volume just a little bit to bring down the distortion. Now the second time through, when we add on that D, just hold that form and hit the second and third string. Alright, so it'll sound like this. And then back to your A. Alright, so the first half measure. And we go through it again. Alright, we're going to do one more with the adding on the D, and then we go to a G and a D power chord. Volume's up at that time, so now we're coming out of the bridge, and that leads us into the chorus. So let's go through the bridge one more time, including the G and the D to hold before we get into the chorus. 1, 2, 3, 4. To the chorus. Alright, the first measure of the chorus will sound like this. Alright, so what we're doing there, A twice, G twice power chord, to a D. We're going to hit the D twice, and then we're going to use our small finger on that third string at the 4th fret to do this. If you use a power chord and use that, that's fine. But practice it with the G power. Just, it gives your pinky a good workout. Anyhow, that's what I feel he's doing. So we're going to hit that G twice before the 4, back to a, D twice with the 4 on the 3rd string down, back to a D. And then 2 more Ds before we go to the 3rd fret of the 5th string with a pull down. Alright? Excuse me. So again, up to this point. Now we're going to do it, he does it a little different. He does a lick here. So we're going to do our A again to G power chord twice. Now we're going to go to the D. After we add the 4 and take it off, we're going to go into this lick. So what we're going to do is slide in on the 4th string to the 4th fret, catch the string at the 2nd fret, and then end up on that 3rd fret of the 5th string pulled down. Alright, so all together this half of the measure. 1, 2, 3, 4. Alright, now it changes. So we're to the second measure of the chorus, and this is where it gets quite a bit different, and not everybody gets this right. So the last measure of the chorus will sound like this. Alright, so what we're doing there is we're going to hit the A twice, just like we have up to this point. Then we're just going to hit the 6th string at the 3rd fret and pull that slightly down back to that A power chord. Alright, so we have this. Then we're going to go walk down 3 to 2. Alright. So that 2 we're operating independently. Get your fingers to a D over F sharp. Alright, so you want to move your finger to the third string at the second fret, to the second string at the third fret. And we're hitting the F sharp, okay, and muting the B. So playing that chord, he'll play the chord twice because we played the bass note, which gives us time to get our fingers there, okay? This makes sense. So let's go through this up to that point where we play the F sharp over D twice. 1, 2, 3, 4. Then we're going to just move to an F chord, but we're going to hit the F note on the 6th string first fret once, then the power chord twice. Alright, and then we go out of it with an A to G to D. Alright, so let's walk through this slowly. 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay, one more time. 1, 2, 3, 4. Then we're reprising the intro. Alright, so we know that intro, so we got that. So that's the chorus. Alright, when we reprise the intro the second time through it, okay, the solo will start. You'll hear them start the actual solo. We're going to go over that, but you'll just hear a couple notes, and then the actual solo will begin just about as this intro reprised ends, and we're into the solo rhythm. So before we go over the solo, I'm going to go over the solo rhythm, okay? It's very easy because, again, they're just backbeating to keep the guitar, the lead guitar in the forefront. So what they're doing is the verse, but there's no notes to it at the end. Alright, it's just a straight. Okay, so there I went through it twice, which they will in the solo rhythm. Alright, so really that is the rhythm for the solo. Coming out of that, okay, just before we break, we're going to go into that halftime part. Alright, when they go into that, again, this is still part of the solo rhythm until the second half of this. And then the singing starts back in, and then we're going to go out with the chorus. All right, but you know that bridge part. Well, I'm a man, you know, and so forth. And that's about the time that the solo ends. Singing begins. We're into the chorus. The chorus we will do 3 times through. All right, and after that, we're actually into the intro one more time. So chorus 3 times, we'll reprise the intro one more time. And I want to talk about that next because that's where this cool steel guitar lick is. Alright, so on our way out, we've done 3 choruses. Now we're reprising the intro. And I'm going to play it and play that steel lick, and then we'll talk about what we're doing there. So we have this. we know that first measure where we go, then we're back into it. What you want to do here is do your walk up on the 6th string. Then you're going to hit your, while you're hitting those open strings following that, you're going to get ready for a D chord. Alright, we're going to play a D. It's going to be a partial D at the 10th fret. Alright, and so we're going to be using the first 2 strings there. Alright, and then the rest, this will be referencing the D or the A over D. So it will be on the 7th fret of the 4th and 3rd string. So 7 on 4, 3, and 10 on 1 and 2. So we got that D power chord there. And the pedal steel lick that he does is right there. So your pinky will grab the 1st, 2nd string, then your ring finger will be right on that 3rd string to bend up. Alright, so here's the chord. Let me take it from the G. Alright, you bend that up till it sounds good. Alright, so one more time with the D. That's the song. So we'll go over the solo next, but that last lick is just too much. It's wonderful. All right, the solo, which again kind of begins when they're still singing. You'll hear them at the 15th fret with a bend, some vibrato, and then just slide down, doing that twice. All right, and then they go into this. Alright, I'm going to stop there. So, again, we've done 15 twice. Slide down. Now what we're going to do is bend the 7th fret. While we keep that bend going, we're going to hit the 8th fret. That's on the 3rd string. Hit the 8th fret 3 times. Alright, now we're going to hit them both together bent. So we have this. And then we just hit it once after they're both bent. Alright, so again, to start it out. Then we're going to do them bent together 6 times. Then we'll release it to 5. We'll catch 7 on the 4th string. And then we're going to go 5 to 7 hammered on the 4th string to 5 on the 3rd string. Alright, so alright, so the whole thing from the 7 to 8 bends. 1, 2, 3, 4. Alright, so that's the intro to the lead. The next part, I'm just going to take a little measure of it before the repeated part. It'll sound like this. Alright, so what we're going to do is a Chuck Berry thing where we bend 7 up on the 3rd string, catch the 2nd string at 5 to the 1st string. Then we're going to take 8 on the 2nd string and hit 5 on the 1st and 2nd string. So we have this. Then we're going to bend 7 up while catching 5 on the 2nd string to 5 on the 1st and 2nd. Right. Don't worry if you missed a 5 on that bend. It's not that relevant. So this is what we have to this point. 1, 2, 3, 4. So at that point, he's going to go into this. that. What we're doing, and this is the repeated part of the second measure of the solo, we're going to hit 5 on that first string to 8, back to 5. 8 is on the second string. Then we're going to bend that 7-5 again. If you don't hit the 5, that's fine. And then the 5s together. All right. You'll do that a total of 5 times. All right. So let me take you from the very beginning of that second measure. 1, 2, 3, 4. All right, at that point, after the 5th time, we're going to hit 5 to 8, back to 5, and then 8 slid to 10. That's on the second string. Again, this is pretty quick, so if you use Riff Station, you can slow it down and get a feel for it. But just practicing it, you'll pull it out. All right, so we've slid up to 10. Now we're going to go to the first string, 8, and then 10 bent twice. Third time, bend and release and pull off to 8, back to 10, 8. All right, we'll stop there. So let me take it from the 5. All right, the next 2 notes are 10 bent up twice, back to 7. Then 7 on the second. And then we end up on 10 on the second. All right. So again, let me take you from the very beginning, because listen, again, you'll hear the solo in your head because it's just a melodic, memorable solo. So 1, 2, 3, 4. So now, again, all right, we're going to take off from this pentatonic position to the next one. We're going to hit 12 on the first string with a bend to 10 and 12 unbent. And this is where the half time begins. All right, and then we'll hit 13 on the second string to 10. So again, listen to this. Think of the halftime feel. You'll hear this. That's a great blues lick. All right, we're going to continue this wonderful blues lick on. We're going to slide into 11 on the third string, grab 10, back to 12 bent, and then 10 to 12 unbent. Then real quickly to 11 and 13 bent, 12 bend and release, and then 10. That kind of ends the blues lick, but this halftime feel is such a great blues lick. Okay, one more time from the beginning. 1, 2, 3, 4. And then you're back in. And finishing out that reprised, well, you'll go back into the chorus and then the intro reprised and out. So that's the solo. My notes are below. I really hope this helps everybody. I had a blast learning this. I usually do when I get into these songs, but some of the intricacies and things that really made this sound good versus just, using that A note really made a difference in being able to play this what I feel correctly with the band. So give it a listen. I hope you guys enjoy.